All right, I am here with the GloryAir large room humidifier, almost whole house. It's 3,000 square feet for this humidifier, and I've got it unboxed. I'm just going to show you how to get it going. So it's really very easy, very straightforward. I got some water here. You could do it in a sink, you could do it with a hose, whatever's easiest for you. But I want to show you before we do that. We got the remote. Just put that in my pocket for a second. You do need to make sure that this part here, you got to take the foam off of that. You don't want to run it with that piece of foam on there. So take that off, toss it aside, don't need that. Also, when you're putting these sections on, you got to make sure you put them in the right spot. Like, it won't sit right unless it's in the correct spot, but if you want to make sure it is sitting flush all the way around. If it's off kilter at all, then it's not in the right spot. So you got that section. You got to make sure this section is also on. See, it's not going to sit except for the right way. That's the only way it sits flat. Then you got this outlet hose pipe up here. That is to help, you know, get the air out in your home, or the water out in your home. So to fill it up, you can just pour it right in here, which is actually really nice. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And, you know, you can do this a gallon at a time, or you can do it, you know, if you have access to a high sink, even like a kitchen sink with a hose on it would work fine. As long as you can get this, you know, up against the counter. So this is, like I said, 3,000 square feet of humidification here. So, you know, depending on the size of your house and the location you can have this in, this could be an actual whole house humidifier. All right, so we got water in it. Let's go ahead and fire it up. I've got it plugged in already. All right, there we go. Man, you can see already, hopefully you can see on video. I'll check. Yeah, this thing puts out a lot of humidification. Right here you got your temperature and you got your humidity percentage right there. It does come with a remote. It comes with this awesome display. So on the remote I can set the level that I want it at. You know, this is the highest 1, 2, 3, 4 settings for the amount of mist that you want to come out. And it puts out a lot when you want it to put out a lot. Very powerful. You can also turn that light on and off. You see that down there. You can set it on a timer, and you can set it on sleep mode. So lots of options here. It's very quiet. I think the biggest issue with a lot of humidifiers, especially if you have them in a kid's room, is how loud they can be. This is almost silent. Very, very quiet, which is cool. And I'm really impressed by how much humidity that puts out. And it's not wet. Like some humidifiers, it almost feels like it's barely even mist, like it's almost rain that they're putting out. Everything around them ends up soaking wet. This is really misty, if that makes sense. It's like a cloud. You can see how light this mist is. That's what you want, because then it'll actually spread and disperse in your house instead of just making a big giant puddle. Ooh, there's a lot of mist. I'm gonna turn that down. One other feature that I think is really cool is right here, there's an essential oil tray. So you can actually, let's do that. You can actually take your essential oil, whatever favorite essential oil, put a few drops on there, stick it back in, and this becomes not only a whole house humidifier, it becomes a whole house diffuser. Very cool. So thank you to GloryAir for sending this over. This thing is amazing. We're going to be using it. We live in a fairly moist climate, but our house always feels really dry for some reason. We're always worried about our kids having, you know, dry noses and stuff like that. So being able to set this guy up and really crank some actual humidity out is pretty cool. Very impressive.